Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Max McAllister from Traction Dynamics here. Hey, today I'm coming to you on a topic not at all related to motorcycles. Want to tell you about a kid and offer a chance or ask for your help here. This young fella right here, his name's Joshua Meyers. He's a young man from Atlanta. I met Josh. I'm an avid cyclist, and I met Josh 2 summers ago on an organized ride called the Bicycle Ride Across Georgia, or BRAG. And so we rode bikes about 400 miles across Georgia over the course of 5 days. And at the time, Joshua was only 15 years old, and he came and his mother entered him to do the ride with us, and so it was a great experience for him for sure. And his mom drove him, and as we move along, we camp in various gymnasiums and things like that. And his mom came and she slept on the floor of the gyms with all of the cyclists and such, and so she was a real trooper. This kid Josh is a super wonderful, polite, well-mannered young man, and I had actually seen him before I met him at the local velodrome. He was even younger, so he got his start riding bicycles in East Point, Georgia at the Dick Lane Velodrome. And so he's a track rider. Well, Josh has aspirations of being a professional cyclist, so he's a really great kid. Here's a couple of kind of funny photos of us. We actually rode fast enough that we were able to get to the finish line of each segment each day before they could inflate the arch. So we pretended we were mad. This is Joshua here, and so we averaged 20 miles an hour for 60 miles each day, which is no small feat for a 15-year-old boy. So finally one day the arch was up for us, and we were happy that we got to be there for the arch. So Josh is very serious about his cycling. He's very dedicated, and I can tell you on that ride he really worked hard. He did his share of turns at the front, pulling the line of riders. When it was his turn to do some work, he would get up front and we would draft behind him. So he's a super strong young guy with a bright future. Here's a picture of him when he was a young boy and where he got his start at the Dick Lane Velodrome. That's the velodrome in the background. And there he is racing on the course in a juniors class. And he's actually been on the state track podium for Georgia State Championships, been on the podium for his age group 3 years in a row. So he's got a bright future and he wants to be a professional cyclist. So this is where it goes wrong. While he was out training about 3 weeks ago, Joshua was hit by a car, and he got hurt pretty bad. So his face was damaged, his arm and hand was damaged, his knee was torn apart, or inside his PCL, posterior cruciate ligament, was torn. So he's in bad shape. However, he is expected to recover fully from his injuries, but so there's been a lot for him to go through as he's tried to get back on his feet, and a lot for his mother to go through as well. So his mother is a real tough lady, and she's done a great job with him. And I can't imagine getting that call that your son's been in an auto accident, while riding his bike. So this is Josh and his mom, Katrina. She's a wonderful lady as well, as Josh was on the mend. Here he's kind of able to, there's a little progression here I've got as he's kind of mended up a bit. So his arm and legs are still stuck in a mess. He's gotten out of the hospital and he's at home. He's obviously not too happy to be just laying around. But he has managed to get back on his feet and he's beginning to move around. And so that's a great thing. He's able to get out a little bit. Obviously not able to ride a bike. Still smiling, right? This is a kid who's really full of life and just a wonderful, bright kid. So here's a picture of, Josh as I know him. I've actually had this kid sprint me to one of those finish line arches wouldn't give up an inch and wanted to actually be the first rider to the finish line. He's just a tough competitor, and even though we weren't in a race, he still wanted to win, and so that's kind of the spirit the kid has. To add insult to injury, Josh's bike, of course, it was smashed to pieces, and you know, he had a decent bike. It wasn't a professional grade bike by any stretch, and so what I'd like to do is I want to get this kid a new bike, and so within whatever my sphere of influence and my reach is, I want to put this message out into social media and ask if we can get some money together to get this kid a bike. So my goal is to raise $10,000, which will get him a top-of-the-line specialized professional racing bike from Specialized Bicycle Components. And what I'm going to do on Monday is see if I can't get a special price. I'm going to ask some friends in the industry, in the bicycle industry, if they'll help me. And we'll see if we can't get a good deal to get Joshua a bike and maybe a new helmet and some things that I'm sure were destroyed in the wreck. So I'm not going to take the time to set up anything complex or formal. You can find me at my company is Traction Dynamics. We've been around 20 years. But you can PayPal me directly is how I'm going to do it, just to max@traction.com, and that's spelled TRAXXION.com. So you can probably, there's my card. So max@traction.com. I'm going to pay all the inbound PayPal fees. So 100% of anything you donate to Joshua will go towards getting him a new bike, and if we get extra money, we'll buy him some nice new clothes and gear and stuff to get him back on his bike, so as soon as he's able to move his knee again and get his hands and such, and the doctors cut him loose, he can get back out on a bike. So max@traction.com. 100% of anything you donate, I'll make sure it gets to Joshua, and let's see if we can't get him back into this mode and get him out of that and get that smile back on his face and get him headed down the road towards his goal of being a professional cyclist. If you have any questions, you can also reach me at max@traction.com, and once we figure out how much money we've got and what kind of deal we can get, I'll post another video and we'll give you an update. We're going to try and make this a surprise, so if any of you know Joshua, don't tell him this is going on. Keep it quiet, and we're going to do our best to get a bike. I'm not going to do this very long, so if you're interested, donate quickly. Within a week or two, we'll have him we'll go get him whatever we can, the best possible bike we can afford with the money we raise. I'm personally donating $1,000 because I think he's a great kid, and so I want to sponsor him a little bit. So my company, Traction Dynamics, is going to kick in $1,000. So we're 10% of the way already to getting this kid his new professional bike. I appreciate your help if you donate, and thanks for listening.